Old designs. I'll tell you what, old designs to me, it depends. It depends on the eye of the beholder. You know, people's tastes change, people's priorities change, people's budgets change. In fact, my favorite makers, I've been, to be honest, I will never do it, but I've been tempted just to blatantly cut out their patterns and make them for my own personal use. I mean, I don't know. Is it unethical? Technically, it's copying somebody, but it's not going to leave my own collection. It would be from my own pockets. But sometimes older designs that are discontinued, recently I got a question on a knife I had, an older knife I had, and I was selling it for a very, very, very high, much higher price than what I paid for it. And someone asked me a question like, well, can I buy it for this much, which was considerably more than what I paid for it, but considerably less than what I'm asking for it. And that could be construed as fair market value. I never answered them back. It's quite a while ago, but it was an old, still, piece that I had bought from another company, and because once I sell it, it's gone. It's out the door. I'm not like I'm going to get another, and so I might as well just wait until the market does reach fair market value, which is that extra money that I want out of it, and sell it then. Inflation being what it is, I really don't care. I rather just hold it until I absolutely need to sell it. And it's an older, discontinued design, I think. I don't know if it's discontinued, but I mean, they wouldn't be offering to buy it for my considerable markup if it was still being sold. And sometimes I find it actually is good. It's good for me when I buy these, kind of off-brand blades, hold on to them for a while, never use them, because sometimes they have kind of a following later on. There's one I was looking at years ago. I wish I would have bought it at the knife shop, and I looked for it. There's nothing out there for sale. I found one for like $750. It was originally $350, and I guess I could make an offer, but I'm more likely to, if I really want that knife, I'm going to pay the $750 that seller was asking for it. But that's the thing. Older designs are kind of valuable to that person that's curious about buying them. And so I don't know. It's kind of a little sticky if people were to bring back older designs and remarket them and sell them. And as a knife maker, it's even a harder sell, because I know at the end of the day I could just make a copy of it. Just change a couple things to look like, to change a couple things around. Or I could just basically, I could physically, blatantly make a copy of it. There's a few older designs I thought, well, I can make that. I don't know if it's ethical. I don't know if people get angry on here. I don't know if there's any repercussions otherwise. But, I physically could grind out the pieces and make that knife and probably do just as good of a job as the original manufacturer did and enjoy carrying it. So, I don't know. Older designs, if a person's established and had a following, might work. But who's to say that their market's even existent? Their market might have gone to, a different hobby altogether. So, I don't know, it's a little bit of a catch-22. A person, say, buys a bunch of production stuff on closeout, and they turn around and sold it at a much higher markup than what they paid for it, but still does the market a favor by offering a fair price, which in this case I was not doing. I was marketing a very, very marked up price. Maybe that's okay. I remember I got rid of a few that way back when I was between jobs, and the money was running out. But alas, right now I'm doing fine, and I don't really need the money. So I'll mark them up really, really high. But yeah, it's a good question. As a maker, let's say I never really had the kind of following some of these other makers did, but if I had quite a following, I always wondered why a lot of these makers never want to dive into their old designs. And I kind of, in a way, realize it's true. While they do roll out that design, and at one time it deeply brought joy to a lot of people to see it in a magazine, once again, that person's position to buy that old design may not be there. And it's like, oh wow, so-and-so brought this back, that's cool. But who's to say that all of a sudden now, yeah, but I still got utility bills, I still got a house payment, a car payment, and I should have bought it back then when they were $300 each. Now they're more, 'cause not only that, inflation, but I just can't afford it. I just can't afford to buy it. And so who knows? As a maker, that'll be very daunting to punch out a whole run of blades. As a maker who grinds things from CNC shops, that's even more scarier proposition once they hit that send button, because they could be stuck with all those handles and blade cutouts and whatnot for God knows how long. That's the thing about punching parts. Once that send button gets hit, who knows how long they got those parts? Who knows? It could be sitting on those things for eons. They may never sell any at all. Who knows? Yeah, so the way I make them, I can pivot on a dime. I can make a bunch of stuff, and then I can, say, well, that didn't do so good, and I can go ahead and the next 10 or so shapes, I can change them out, rather than having about 150 different slabs all cut the same way, drilled the same certain way. I got more control. And I knew a guy who went that route one time. There was something on there that he wished he had done differently. Too late. He had a bunch of blanks cut out. He couldn't do it. He couldn't change a thing unless he groaned on those blanks and stay within the parameter of those blanks to modify them. So who knows? So I don't know. And not only that, from the actual collectors, I don't know what the effects are on a collectible if they brought out a bunch of other models. Like I went ahead and I bought a certain knife from a mainstream industry company, mainstream name, and had such a high failure rate when they make these. It was a certain finish, and I bought one. And then the next year, the public likes that. They cranked out a whole bunch more. Well, it had some special numbering on it. No one's going to care. Oh, well, I can pay another $100 for the special numbering. No, I have one of the first ones, but at the end of the day, no one's going to care. So, yeah. It's, I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder, do old designs belong in the past, and progress kind of needs to only come forward? I don't know. It's a kind of a question I've always wondered about. Or, will someone get wind of this trend overseas and just basically pull the books and just basically start making a bunch of old designs with the features that a lot of custom makers used to offer? I'm just kind of curious. Old, plain, straightforward, G10 scale handle with a titanium bolster, just a black G10 handle made for everyday carry to be used and carried to work, based off an old design. And the general public's seen makers from overseas making other people's stuff almost part for part. So I don't know. It's a trend that could really take off in gosh knows what direction. So okay, well, anyway, enough of my musings. I'm gonna head home, but don't worry about the haters. Just let the haters worry about you. See you on the next one.